Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si G. Tonji. I'm very excited to introduce to you today. We are talking about the Cotabato Session. It's a documentary of the musical legacy of national heritage artist Danongan Kalundayan and his family who resides in Cotabato City in Mindanao in the Philippines. Practitioners po of the indigenous art form known as the kulintang, which is the rhythmic gong, and the colorful dance that often accompanies it, revering the Kalundayan family as respected elders upholding the tradition. Kulintang, known as a feminine instrument, that also has a very unique history of crossing Philippine indigenous matriarchal societies and Muslim cultures. The film features this legacy through the Kalundayan's performing art practice. Let's talk to the director of Cotabato Sessions here on Kababayan today, a dear friend of mine, just like family, si Joel Quizon po nandito. Hi, Joel!
Hi.
Hi, Kuya!
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So it's been a while since you and I spoke, but let me share with the audience that me and my Kuya Joel Quizon know each other from when I was a teenager, when we were very much younger than today. Kasama ko po si Kuya Joel nung ginawa namin yung pelikula with Eric Quizon called...
Langit sa Piling Mo.
Oh, I thought you forgot about it.
Never forget about that.
Yeah, Langit sa Piling Mo was a movie that we shot starting in San Francisco, and it was a road movie. Tapos we went through Los Angeles, San Diego, and all across, and then we ended up in New York City. Habang nagmamaneho kami. That was an experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was great. That was fun.
I know. It seems so long ago, and yet it's kind of like 2 decades ago.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Well, it's so good to see you. I know you're directing a lot of things, but let's talk about Cotabato Sessions. This is a film, a documentary that you shot in the Philippines. Why did you want to do this project?
Well, it's actually a project initiated by Susie Ibarra. She's a percussionist, composer based out of, she's Fil-Am, based out of New York and Philippines. And she made another film about the Tibolis with another filmmaker a while ago. So she was interested in doing a recording, an album of the music of Kulintang in the South, and she wanted to also make a film that coincided with the album. And we've just been talking back and forth for about a year, 2 years about the project, and eventually she kind of talked me into doing it with her, and really something that's close to me too, Philippine music and Philippine culture. So it was just kind of a natural fit to work together and do it.
How was it like going back to the Philippines? How long was the whole shoot?
The shoot was, we were there for 10 days, but the shoot was really only about 3 days, really fast. And it was the first time I actually went to the Philippines to do a project. So
Yes, because the past you've been going for family, you know, pleasure.
Right.
This was more work.
Yeah, it was more work, but it was one of the most fun times I've ever had because of the crew and the people that we met and the subject matter. It was really an eye-opening experience. It was great. Yeah, it was fun.
I know you grew up here in America, but you were born in the Philippines. What is it about Filipino music and culture that you gravitate to, especially here, living in America? Because I know you enjoy it. You're always, you know, out in the scene promoting Philippine music and culture. Why is it so important for you to be a part of that?
Well, I think it's, I moved here when I was 8, 1978. So I think the music just kind of brings me closer to home. So whether it's music that when I remembered growing up in the 70s, or just music in general that comes from the Philippines, it always connects me back home, you know?
Yeah. Well, the great news is you've agreed to let us show a snippet of your film, Cotabato Sessions, here on Kababayan today. It's an exclusive because you've never seen it on television before. So thank you for allowing us to show that to the people of Kababayan today. And obviously, we'll talk more about Cotabato Sessions, but let's take a look right now at a little snippet of the film documentary Cotabato Sessions. Nagbabalik tayo dito sa Kababayan Today, and you just watched, before we went to commercial break, an exclusive sneak peek of Cotabato Sessions. Kasama natin ang director na si Joel Quizon dito sa Kababayan Today. So Joel, watching Cotabato Sessions, it seemed like a really colorful and vibrant experience. How was it like meeting the elders that were in the documentary?
It was great. It was like our first day just getting off the plane. We went to Danny Kalundayan's home in Cotabato City, and as soon as we got there, there was just a house full of people, and they were already rehearsing, and they had decorations up, and they were just jamming, and it was amazing. We were like, get the cameras out, it's like,
Yeah.
it was beautiful. So they were ready for us, and the first couple of days, they were just kind of playing their music. They weren't really talking to us. Part of it is a language barrier. But eventually by the third day, and you can kind of see in the film how it progresses, we've kind of built a bond of just between shooting for 3 days and them being really good sports, shooting in the hot sun all day kind of stuff and performing all day. And they just were really open to us eventually, and we were really giving in terms of sharing their art form.
Okay, so why is it important to be able to document these experiences to show to the rest of the Filipino community, and not just the Filipino community, but it seems to the whole world? Yeah.
Well, I think it's just to present music that's generally not presented in this context, instead of just like museums or cultural events or festivals and stuff. It's kind of like music as it is, in its pure form, and that's how we wanted to show the music in the film, is just in its pure form. And just also about sustainability, of like having people see it, appreciate it, and possibly performing it. And there's some people there's like small groups of people who are learning it, younger people, but really the tradition of it being passed down is less of it.
It is a dying art form.
Yeah, it's kind of dying, but there's the little pockets of in different cities in the U.S. where there's people learning it, and there's little pockets in the Philippines of also people learning it. So it's there. It's just kind of maybe hopefully we'll help grow it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is your mission with this film?
Well, I think the mission is, this is kind of the beginning for Susie Ibarra's company called Song of the Bird King, where she wants to make more movies and records based on indigenous tribes in the Philippines and maybe other countries eventually. So it's to get the music out there, get it out there to a wide range of people, not just Filipinos, and then hopefully get people to practice it as well.
Right. For you personally, what does that mean to celebrate your history?
I mean, it's me. It's my roots. It's I can't get away from it, and nor do I want to. As every day of my existence is my roots and my history. So everything I do is informed by that. So, it's important. It's part of who I am.
And I know you've got an adorable son who just started kindergarten, si Kamayo. How are you teaching Kamayo the Filipino culture?
As either through language, through just exposing him to different art forms that's Philippine, as much as you can, taking him to movies and festivals and events that is about Philippines and stuff like that.
I have children, so I know it's a challenge because pag kinakausap ko sila ng Tagalog, they're like, huh? What? And so it's really hard to be able to pass that on. And so the little ways that we can, through the food, through the music, but it is difficult here in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and because there's hardly any festivals, I mean, there are so few festivals that really celebrate the Filipino culture. So I encourage everybody to go out there, as well as, Joel is also a DJ. Why don't you talk to us about that? Because I remember there was, a while ago, I went to visit you in downtown, and you were spinning there, and there was a little sort of market where everybody was kind of sharing their art as well.
Yeah, that was a tribal cafe in Filipino town, historic Filipino town. We stopped doing that. It was hard with the kid and everything. We were doing a monthly event.
Can we do it again,
I want to
please?
do it again, actually.
Can we do it again? Magkita-kita tayo sa
Yeah.
Tribal Art Cafe in downtown LA. Where exactly is it?
It's on Temple between Union and Glendale.
Yeah, it's such a nice space.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to be able to get together with different vendors that are not just Filipino, but are sharing their art.
Yeah, it's definitely the people, the community. It was a community event, so yeah.
All right, so when we return, kakausapin pa rin natin si Joel Quizon tungkol sa kanyang experience bilang isang Filipino-American. Don't go away, here on Kababayan Today. Kasama pa rin natin ang direktor ng Cotabato Sessions, si Joel Quizon. So Joel, alam ko lumaki ka sa Pilipinas until you were 8. Pero marunong ka pa rin mag-Tagalog, di ba?
Konti lang.
Konti lang.
Second grade level, like I said, it's really bad.
No, second grade level is good. I mean, you know, I'm hoping that my kids are going to be able to even get to that level, di ba? So how was it like at 8 years old when you moved here to America? Share with us that experience.
It was kind of a fog, you know, if I can remember correctly, but it was always a challenge, I remember, just moving here. Because, you know, I didn't want to live outside of the Philippines. I didn't want to move. But no one really told us, hey, we're moving, we're going to live in the US. It's just like, pack it up, let's go. And then next thing I knew it, I was on the back of a Honda Civic driving to my aunt's house out of LAX. So it was hard, and I would just remember just going through different schools and moving to Carson eventually, and moving to Orange County eventually, and just having like an accent, having
a Filipino accent.
Yeah, a little bit, you know, but I knew how to speak English, you know, and then just kind of sticking out or feeling like you stuck out. So it's just being self-aware even at a young age that you're somewhere different and you're not at home anymore, not in Philippines anymore. So I remember looking back on that as like, that was a really hard time for a kid, you know? But it happened all the time, you know, people just kind of like pack up their kids and move to another country. But, you know, it made me who I am and made me stronger and made me kind of adapt and you know.
Well, a lot of Filipinos migrate to America. A lot of Filipinos who are very young, they call them the 1.5 generation. They were born there, but their formative years were spent growing up in America. And I feel like there's this search, this continuous search, especially in our generation, to understand what it means to be Filipino. However, as the generations are getting younger, that is fading away. What can we do in our generation to be able to share that with the younger generation about who they are and what the Filipino culture means?
I think, you know, using art, film, telling stories about Philippines.
But there's hardly any films about being Filipino-American.
That's why we got to make it.
Exactly. So that's why I'm hoping and praying that if you're watching, we're able to inspire you. Because if the audience is looking for it, then it helps us, the filmmakers and the people in media, produce things for them.
Yeah, support those films. Definitely.
Yes. So how can we support Cotabato Sessions? Because I'm all about it. I want to tell everybody I know about it. It's a great film. It's very vibrant. How can people find out more about this?
They can go online, go to susiebarra.com and songofthebirdking.com and find out more information on that. They can get the soundtrack or the album on iTunes.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's there.
And Amazon, you can get that. And beautiful
So what is
music.
the title of the soundtrack?
The Cotabato Sessions. You can
Cotabato Sessions is on iTunes, so you can hear the music as they were playing it there.
Yep.
Wow.
And then we're hopefully getting some more. We screened at the LA Asian Pacific Film Festival here in May, and we just screened in July, in New York at the Asian International Film Festival.
Wonderful.
And we're hopefully trying to get into more festivals. We have some out there, so we're waiting to hear back from them. And eventually, it'll be available for download.
Wonderful. Please let us know when you guys are doing another screening so we can invite all the viewers to come watch Cotabato Sessions. You can also, like Joel said, listen to the music. It's on iTunes. Other than Cotabato Sessions, what are you busy with as a director?
Well, right now, working on some projects, working with the group that I'm part of, Foreign Fathers Functions, which was founded by Maya Santos, and along with Ronnie De Leon and a few other collaborators. And we're working on a project about Olvera Street that we're trying to finish with my brother. Actually, is editing it, Justin Quizon, and just kind of continue to make films about places and how it impacts people. That's what Form Follows Function does. So we've got other possible projects coming up about LA, about pockets of LA and the people that inhabit those areas and stuff. So documentaries and things, and hopefully maybe make a narrative someday.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping we can work together again because it's been way too long.
Yes.
It's been over, what, not naman 2 decades.
Almost.
Almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
Almost 2 decades. Well, I'm so glad that you came on Kababayan today to share your experience about the Cotabato Sessions. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to encourage other people that are watching to record their history and share their stories, because there's such a lack of it, I think, especially archiving our history in media, also researching that. There's hardly anything. How can we go about doing that and really collating our stories?
Well, I mean, I guess it's talking to the elders, you know, not just studying it, but also just word of mouth and just talking to your family members.
Yeah, so you don't have to go back to Cotabato or to the
Yeah.
Philippines to do that. I suggest you talk to your lolas and your lolos, aunties, aunts, you know, everybody that has experience to share with you, because our history obviously is orally passed down from generation to generation, and it's sad because we aren't archiving as many stories and experiences that we should. So please talk to the elders, like you said, Joel, right? And at the same time, why would you suggest that people do come back to the Philippines?
Well, I think it's just connecting yourself, reconnecting if you have to, and just, you know, contextualizing yourself within where you came from. I
Yeah,
think
to
is
understand
important.
who you are.
Yeah.
All right, when we return here on Kababayan Today, kausap pa rin natin si Joel Quizon. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Kasama pa rin natin si Joel Quizon, ang director ng Cotabato Sessions dito sa Kababayan Today. So Joel, you were kind enough to let us show an exclusive sneak peek of your film here on Kababayan Today. And I know that you've said that you'd be amendable to us showing another part of your film. But talk to us, in ending, talk to us about the impact that the film has made on you personally.
It made me even more want to go back and tell more stories and then show people like the different diverse art forms that we have in Philippines. And there's so many, whether it's indigenous art or popular music, you know, like Manila disco or something like that, that I love so much. You know, there's just so much there to enjoy that younger generations haven't been able to tap into yet, you know.
Okay, thank you so much, Joel, for coming to Kababayan today to talk about your documentary and for sharing this wonderful documentary about our history and our culture.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, so maraming salamat po sa pagnood nyo, at ngayon naman, panuorin natin ang Cotabato Sessions by Joel Quizon.